roughly? Like, do you have any idea? Like, what these are
I
questions that I
don't.
come up with. Like, would
Yeah,
he
I
be
don't
50?
have an idea.
Would he be 60?
I
Would he
think maybe
be
older. Yeah, I would say older.
yeah, because I mean, and this is something I've heard about when we talk about this eschatology, a partial preterist of someone saying, yes, it already happened. How old? I mean, like, because would Caiaphas have been 70 then when Christ returned? And how do we like these are questions, especially when you cited 70 AD. It's like, well, it couldn't have happened because we don't know about it. Well,
Yeah.
actually,
All right, all right. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Mathew Unfiltered, Ep.07. Goodness, we're moving right on along with this thing. This has been a truly marvelous experience, a true blessing to have all of you here with me as we read through this book for the first time for a lot of people. You know, there's a lot of people that are going to see this video and they're going to listen to what I'm saying, and they're going to hear the words that we're reading and that all the words that we cling to, you know. They're going to read and hear, and they're going to take in all that we're saying. And with us going live and talking about the things we're talking about when it comes to the little season, the book of Matthew and Revelation 20, they're going to read chat. I mean, people are all around you are going to see everything we say and everything we do. I mean, everything we do leaves footsteps, it leaves footprints. You can't really hide from it, no matter how hard you try and no matter what you do. But the truth is always revealed in one form or another, for sure. The thing is, I never think about, or let me rephrase that. I never really used to think about all the things that I would say and do. You know, I would always just kind of act. I would have a thought and just boom, act. And then it was either work out or it wouldn't. I felt like that was what everybody else was doing. The only thing is, I would always act different. You know, my choice would always be wrong. You know, I'd always be, that's not right. You know, it's just kind of an odd thing where no matter what you did, you were damned if you did or damned if you didn't type of thing. It's a weird thing because it seems like a lot of people who are waking up in the little season and are coming to understand what it's like to understand what a community is really supposed to be like. It seems like it's been that way for a lot of us over the years and over life. You know, I put on a face the same as everyone else. You know, I don't want to walk out in the world and just be hooting and hollering and full of nonsense, you know, just carrying on, acting a fool. Because that's what I'll be known as a fool. And I don't want to be on here talking a bunch of nonsense about the Bible and the little season and communities and love and all the things that aren't supposed to be cool. But yet they are cool to me. they're cool to me and they mean something to me and they mean a lot to me, not just because the words are real and there's a lot of truth in them that we read and go over. Is that other people understanding this, how real this little season is. It's not a clever thing that people are clinging to for the next best thing. It's not a fad that goes away. And the problem is the only way this goes away, people stop talking about it. And I don't think there's ever going to be a time from this day forward where people stop talking about the day Jesus Christ returned. There's always going to be people in this community and outside of it that are talking about this stuff. It's going to go on forever. This does not go away. There's a reality that comes with this unique introspective of thought, considering what's in my heart versus what's on the surface. Like, what am I doing versus what am I thinking about? Like, and what am I being led with? What am I convicted of? Is it the Holy Spirit leading me, or is it my desires? That's a tough question to answer, really. I think for any of us. It's a tough question, and goodness gracious, I'm freezing to death in this house. Let me go turn this air up. Sorry about that. I'll cut that out in the edited version one day. But it is cold in this house, and I have my air up too. I don't know. I'm just cold. I don't know what's going on. Let me roll this sleeve. I don't want my sleeves down. What was I saying? Where was I? Yeah, no, it's not a thing that it's just like a bunch of crazy loons getting together, horsing around. I mean, we're excited for the truth. We're excited for what's going on in the world. We're excited about the revelations people are having when it comes to Jesus Christ. That's a name I didn't think I'd say so proudly and so boldly at one time in my life. You know, I didn't want to be the Jesus freak, you know, that guy, that Jesus guy. Good evening, Trish Clark. Brother Garrell over there at Midwest Night Watchers, Miss Chiro Sounds, and Brother Barry Burkholder, Miss Allison M. and Dojo, and Miss Linda Smedley. Krista Ray, what a blessing Miss Krista Ray is. I mean, her testimony alone it's just, it moves one to tears. I mean, you know, you can't help but love her. It doesn't matter who she is or where she's from or what race she is or her color of her skin, and none of that matters. It doesn't even matter that she's a woman. It's that she has the most beautiful heart, and we learn that from each other, from socializing, from fellowshipping, hanging out with each other, talking and carrying on. You know, we get together on Sundays and Saturdays now on Discord at set times, and of course, people, the more it grows, people are setting up times throughout the day, and it just gives people an opportunity and an outlet to come in there and say, hey, you know, what's going on, or how you guys doing today? It's also an opportunity to learn. And I'm not kidding. There's fellas in there that know things that they shouldn't know, but they do. You know, things that I know for a fact that they shouldn't know, yet they do. You know, it's a blessing because it's a wonderful thing seeing this community grow, and the love that it shares. And Miss Nancy, goodness gracious, Miss Nancy's such a blessing. She's such a sweetheart. I mean, every time she comes in the chat, it's hey, how you doing? Love you guys. Hope you guys are having a good, great day. She's just so amazing. And you got Scott Free and Miss Trish Clark over there helping the community in every way they can. It's so funny and interesting to me at the same time because Scott Free's a teacher and he don't even really know it. He really is. He's a real teacher in real life and in real life. And I know that makes sense to most of y'all. But he really is. Miss Trish Clark, she wants to do so much for the community. She wants y'all to be healthy. You know, she doesn't want y'all having sores and anger and hurt in your heart. She wants you to have love and peace and joy. You know, the ingredients for what it takes to love your neighbor. That's what this whole journey has been like for me. You know, I really never expected to have a community. I never expected to know people. I really didn't. I was watching people like Ricardo and JT and Paul and Jason Jack and Madeline and Connor. Kingdom Within. 5022 Freedom even. I was listening to everybody. I was in the chat community with everyone else. Changed my name, changed my logo. Came up with this idea and started chatting. I'd never seen people that knew things like I did. I never seen people that understood things like I did. It was a blessing seeing all of y'all. Naturally, I want to be a part of that. I reached out and get people like Eyes for Truth and Red Storm and Miles and Brother Grady and Miss Beth Fisher. You got Tyler Woods and all these people just coming together. Content creators, content consumers. They're all speaking the truth. They're all seeking after it. They're all jumping out there. If he can do it, I can do it, right? Yeah, go ahead, do it. Come on. It's not a competition to sit here and say, we all need to go watch this right here. But you should. You should be listening to Miss Beth Fisher. Her and Miles. I thought it was funny. She asked me in a message, have you even watched my video with Miles yet? And I don't think I would have said I did if I didn't. But it's funny. It took me a while to find it. I had to watch a bunch of them. But it's all right. I did find it late. Watching Miss Fisher.
When Christ returns, and how do we like these are questions, especially when you cited 70 AD. It's like, well, it couldn't have happened because we don't know about it. Well, actually, there's a lot we don't know about.
I mean, most Christians don't even know about 70 AD. I didn't know about it. I grew up in church. You know, I was never ever told about 70 AD. I was told a third temple needed to be built, and then I read Matthew 24, and Jesus is walking out of the temple with his disciples, and he's telling them, "You see all these things here? Not one stone will be left." I'm told, and then you're told, "Oh, there's the Wailing Wall, or there's this that's left," and you're like, "But that's not what Jesus said. Jesus was walking out of the temple. They were looking at the temple on the mount, and he was saying there was going to be nothing left," which, based on history, what the Romans would do, they would destroy everything. And I think Josephus writes about how when they burned the temple, the gold melted, and so they ripped up the foundation to pull the gold out of the stones that had melted down. So I was like,
I've heard
well,
that the Wailing Wall is actually the retaining wall of the fortress of Antonia, that
uh,
is where, and that they figured that out based on a Roman legion and where they would have
yeah,
put them, and then some of Herod's descriptions of looking down on the temple and some of that stuff. And so the Wailing Wall actually couldn't be, because the word of God is true, because it
yeah,
says,
They could be your neighbors. At least that's what I see. Two people I'd like living next door to. Listening to Miss Fisher and Brother Miles, I guess that's Sister Beth. Or Beth, I don't, sister. Listening to them is just a blessing. It's a heartfelt thing when you sit here and you listen to them talk, and just the way they share their testimony, to me, I don't know, it just touches me. But I think with all things, you get better at it, no matter what you do. There's going to be a day where what I'm doing is going to be completely different than what I'm doing right now. There's going to come a day where where things change for me in one form or the other. Maybe I'm forced to live stream with you guys with just a cell phone in my hand. It may come to that. You never know. The point ain't their setup. It's not the lack of production or any of that. It's none of that even matters. Whether it's in a $500 million studio or in their house, and look, this is right here in their house, sharing the word, getting it out there. It's beautiful seeing the community come together, and I want people to understand something what we're talking about with this community. This isn't a cult. We're not out here spreading hippie love, though it sounds similar. It does sound kind of similar, but it's not hippie love. It's just simply, oh man, it's just simply loving your neighbor is not that bad. I don't know why it has to be such a bad thing. Why we turned it into such a bad thing. We left off in Matthew last week. We were talking about Jesus, where after he was born and grew up, become a man, and comes out here and meets his disciples, he basically gives them mental boot camp. And he breaks their mind down, rewinds them, and resets their mind on how to think. And he starts to teaches them the way. Then he goes out and he starts healing people. He's touching people. He's blessing people. He's moving people. Jesus is doing the thing. He is making it happen. And before we go on and move forward with all the rest of the things that Jesus did, I want to touch on one more thing. I loved Brother Grady's show. Look, guys, I had so much fun sitting in the background, hanging out with you guys, chatting, going back and forth. But sometimes I would sit there and just be listening and watching him. I think it's fun because I can pop in and be his little Jiminy Cricket at any time if I need to. And then I can say hey to you guys. So it's not like I'm not there, but I am there, but I'm not there. It was fun hanging out in the background. Of course, that just means I have to be there. So no matter what, Grady always has that one listener for sure, and that's me. I'm going to be sitting there listening as I'm recording him and getting him out there on the air. But it was such a fire episode. God bless. I mean, every other time he would bring up a new point or go from one moment to the next, it was just not consequential, sequential fire. It's like a firestorm. It was real fire. Fire from heaven. That's what that was. In its own little way, you know. It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And we're going to try to do that every Monday. With that said, we're going to also try to do a Tuesday and a at least Thursday episode of some sorts. Of course, I'll continue the Bible study. We'll have to move things around. We may even have multiple lives go one right after another. It just depends on scheduling and getting everybody in line with certain ideas that we have when it comes to spreading the truth of the gospel. I look at this thing tactfully, like you would in a military strategic situation, so to speak. Not that I'm no Navy SEAL or anything like that. I'm no hardcore anything. I just know how this stuff is supposed to go. You do get trained on it, and people don't always pay attention to things that they don't feel like they got to use. I don't know. I always did. One thing I always paid attention to was this book, but the problem was this book comes with too many questions because what you're being taught ain't right. What you're being taught is not wrong, is not necessarily wrong, but it's not the truth. It's not the truth. True and truth are not the same. When it comes to this book, talking about the little season, talking about Jesus, understanding how to love our neighbors and how to have fellowship, a lot of people are going to come into the little season just like a lot of us did, with high walls, you know, real reserved. The more people come together, like Reality Witness, blessings. Thank you, by the way, for that. Let's see. Let me go back up here. Thank you, by the way, for that. Is that a super chat? Howdy to all my little season family. That's from Reality Witness. That's $5. Goodness gracious. What a blessing. What a blessing. This community is what it means to be a family, so to speak. In the most non-cult way. It's the most loving online family that you can find on the internet. It's the most, and I'm telling you that because I've been all over. There's not a group of people like the Little Season Fellowship. You know, there's just no other group of people on earth like y'all. This is a very small community of people. People are going to call me crazy. Say I'm trying to lead a cult. You know, Grady's trying to lead a cult. Tyler's trying to lead a cult. We're all cult leaders. The only cult I subscribe to is the Cult of Con. But any other cult I'm not really down with. But this is not a cult. This is a way of thinking and a way of doing things. That's all this is. Learning how to love your neighbor and understanding why it's so important is the only way to know all that is to really know this book. It's how we progress to the next level. Especially if you're looking at all of life as a game, you know. But it wasn't a game to them. I mean, this was real life. They didn't have cyborg movies to sit there and clown on. They didn't have a TikTok and Instagram. The wild thing is there may never have been a time where there was a TikTok and an Instagram, but there may have been a time of social media. The weird thing is, you would think that if there were certain things that they would just write it in the Bible, but it's clearly not meant it's meant and written the way it's written because some things are just not that important to know. Like having a phone doesn't really help the world. It divides the world. It separates the world. Before, when people didn't have phones, they stayed close to one another because it was hard to get in touch with them otherwise. I mean, you may have to drive a mile down the road in a broke down car that can't really get on the highway. You may be in that bad a situation. And now today, having a cell phone, that bad situation ain't so bad. You'll end up calling them for a ride or whatever. You know, I don't know. That's probably a terrible example. I don't know why I was thinking about that, but goodness gracious, hope nobody's ever broke down like that. But now, the whole idea of it is that we don't really know better until we understand a thing or two. That's the whole point of my people are destroyed for their lack of knowledge. God bless you, Mad Pats. God bless you. He said from the chat to Brother Rev, we love you. Man, I love y'all too, man. I love you too, brother Mad Packs. It's Brother Paul Paxton. He's a blessing to the community too. I just like listening to him talk sometimes. You know, he can give you some wisdom. He really can. You know, this isn't just I'm not just saying all this to brag on the community or because y'all are liking my content. It's because of the way y'all truly are this way. Y'all are this loving, wonderful way. Thank you for that, Matt Pax. Miss Trish says, we could get a few acres. Just use scoffers or smoke signals to communicate. Yeah. You know, you could. But no, it's just the phones, you know, it makes two people feel more comfortable being separated because they always have that phone to connect them to one another. And the reality is we all grew up separated now, and now we're all separated. And the funny thing is now we could use that technology to bring us back together. You know, most of us are just a phone call away. You know, some of us, it does take, you know, some of us, we do have other apps and stuff that we can use to get in touch with each other. You know, it's a blessing what you can do when you put your mind to it. It's just that a lot of us have trained our mind to not trust people and for good reason. For good reason. You know, I still have a hard time trusting people. I still look at everyone like, I'm not sure if that's what you think you're meaning. You know, I don't think you're saying what you really think you're saying. You know, and it becomes exhausting sometimes, but you learn to end up moving on and moving through the world, and it kind of becomes like I don't know, like swimming through a crowd of people. After a while, it almost seems like everybody just kind of leaves you alone. You almost get what you want, but then once you're left alone, then you realize that you were never meant to be alone to begin with, but not in the same social groups that you were in before. God always calls us out of our bad places that we're in and brings us into the good places. It's just a lot of us are stubborn. At least for me, I was very stubborn for a long time. Yeah, yeah, they'll be up there spraying them lines so that our smoke signals don't work. That's right, Brother Barry. We over the world here as one. That's right. Okay, I'm here. You can start the reading now, Brother Rev. All right, Dr. Hugh. He's right, though. We should proceed. So let's move forward. I think it's amazing that when he was coming down from that mountain, that great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Jesus put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. He healed people. They were constantly talking about him. He said, this was, I think, yeah, because we actually went over this last week, this chapter. I was just making sure. So, and behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus when they saw him, that they besought him that they would depart out of their coast. Yeah. So, yeah, he tells them. Actually, I don't think we did we? Am I on the right chapter? Let me make sure I'm doing this right. What lesson am I on? Yeah. Sorry, guys. I think I didn't. Yeah, I knew I had already read all that. It's supposed to be 10. Right. Okay, that's right. I went back one too many. I knew I had confused myself. So, all right, we left off with 9 here, and this is where they were, all his miracles, and we went through all the casting out of demons and all the things that Jesus was doing. He doesn't give them this mental breakdown of how things were going to go. Now he's out here doing what he said he was going to do. As he's doing what he says he's going to do, it says in Matthew 10 here, and when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. And when he called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. He has dubbed them. They are now like deputies. They are deputized. Let me silence that. They are now deputized. They got power. They're like superheroes. That's the Avengers. That's what we got going on here. These fellas are going out here all but flying around. And I bet you if they could fly around, then people would probably treat them different. I don't know why they weren't flying around, even if they could. But if they could, you'd think they would have. Sorry, my nose is actually messed up today. Now the names of the 12 apostles are these. The first, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother. Now this is when it's going to do this little breakdown, just kind of give you a list of all of his disciples. It says Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, the publican, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. It's interesting. Simon the Canaanite, he's not even an Israelite. He's not even Israel. But yet he's one of the 12 disciples. Canaanites, they're supposed to be from Canaan, and Canaan is supposed to be from Ham, right? That's a weird thing that never really gets brought up or mentioned, not too much by the church. And Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He told them to go forth and command them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into the city of the go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into the city of the Sarmatians enter ye not. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he's literally telling them, go directly to the Israelites. That's the 12 tribe people. He's going to go out and talk to them. And as ye go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers. Now hold up. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and go ye preach to the kingdom of heaven that is at hand. And commanded them, saying, Go not in the way of the Gentiles, or in the way of the Samaritans. What's wrong with the Gentiles? What's wrong with the Samaritans? That's the questions I would have been asking. Like, why only them? Like, what about the rest of us? That's what I would have been asking. And I did ask that for a long time until I understood how to read this thing. But it tells us that because that was the promise. Now, what's interesting is that changes, but it tells you how and why it changes. And as you go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. In other words, you go out there and you tell don't be worried about the ones you got to argue and fight with right now. Right now, it's too late. Right now, there's no time. Right now, there is no season. Right now, this is it at hand. Right now, go talk to them. Go tell only the ones who will understand this. Only the ones that know about the little season are the ones you need to be out here kind of really dealing with. But that's not what we're not in this is the little season. They're in a different time. That wouldn't apply to us today. In the little season, we have time. We don't know how much time, but we know we have a little season. So it's either 40 years or 250 years or 500 years or whatever, but it's not thousands of years, nor is it 2,000 years. We have a little bit of time, but we have enough time. They didn't have any time. That is a totally different thing for them. Their state of mind, their anxiety levels, everything would have been very different than yours and mine. It would have been a very different way of life for all of them. Their understanding of everything would have been different, and it was different. But he's telling them that because that was his original plan, to save Israel, like he promised. And as you go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead. Raise the dead? Hold on. They can't be raising dead people. How can they be raising dead people? If they're raising dead people, we already kind of read Revelation, but you know what? That would be like skipping ahead, wouldn't it? But for the ones that are in the know, especially those that understand the times we're in, they understand what that's talking about. Raise the dead, where people were coming out of the catacombs and walking the streets of Jerusalem and other places, just dead people come alive everywhere. Cast out devils freely. You have received, freely give. Yeah. Provide thee neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses, no scrip for your journey, neither coats, neither two coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves for the workman and worthy of his meat. I wonder why that says scrip. But I think I know what that's talking about. It's just like your pack out. It's like what you would take on a journey if you were going camping or something like that. But heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, and freely give. And then it says, provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither two coats, neither shoes, neither yet staves for the workman and worthy of his meat. He's saying, look, you don't have time for any of that. He's not saying it's wrong to have gold or silver or brass in your purses. He's not saying it's wrong to have two coats or shoes. He's not saying it's wrong to have a stave. And a stave is like a big long stick. But it's made for a purpose. For the workman is worthy of his meat. He's not saying all that's wrong. What he's saying is they don't have time for it. This is where people misunderstand Scripture and they'll use it to apply real laws or real ideas out there in doctrines and churches like, oh, don't talk about money, it's evil. It's not money that is evil. It's the love of money that is evil. The whole concept of money itself, in and of itself, is not necessarily evil. It's just another way of exchange, like an exchange for goods or products or services. It's just a medium of exchange. Its value is what you declare it to be, or whoever is the declarer of its value. But it's just telling them, provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses. It's just saying, hey, you don't have time to worry about, don't worry about going to rent a car and getting the heck up out of here. Don't worry about getting a plane ticket and flying overseas. He's telling them, don't worry about moving or going away or doing anything different because, you don't have time. The time is at hand. The kingdom is at hand. It's an odd thing to tell people when you really don't mean it, If you didn't mean that the kingdom was at hand, the time was at hand, why in the world would he say that? It makes no sense. And to try to say that it's in there so people could allegorize this thing is ridiculous. What a blessing. That's right, Brother Scott. He says, love you guys are amazing so much. Love you guys so much. So much love. Yeah. What a blessing. What a blessing this community is. Look, that was one of the funnest podcasts, one of the funnest episodes I've ever done with Beth and Miles couldn't be there. I wish he could have been, but yeah, it was Beth and Tyler and Grady and Scott Free. Man, what a beautiful soul those four individuals have, and their souls are so wonderful. It was a blessing to be able to do that, and for them to come on at the last minute. Some of them, I think it was really, really worth it. I think I enjoyed it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. But I know I definitely enjoyed hanging out with them, and I hope that we get to do that again. That was a nice panel. We could always grow that panel as well. Really could. We could always swap it out and rotate it out. I wouldn't mind working from behind the scenes sometimes. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be cool. Let's see. Moving on, it says, and whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there, and abide till ye go thence. So he's just saying, go find somebody that you feel like you can trust, and go there and stay there. And when you come into a house, salute it. show respect. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if ye be not worthy, let your peace return to you. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if not be worthy, let your peace return to you. In other words, go on, get up out of there. If it's not worthy, if it's not feeling peaceful, if you come to my channel, if you come to my lives and you don't feel at home here, I apologize. We didn't reach out to you. We didn't say something to you, but I apologize for that. I would love to be able to speak to everybody and acknowledge every person that acknowledges me, but that's almost impossible to do. But I could try. Others will try, and others in the chat will catch the slack. Where I'm slacking, they will pick it up quickly. I promise you. So if that's the case, you don't feel welcome, then you need to come hang out more. You're not understanding what's going on. You're not seeing the big picture. But we try to welcome everybody here. We try to bring peace to this community. That's all we're trying to do, is bring peace to this community, united. If we can unite this community together, we can keep it away from the ones that'll try to take it from us. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if not be, let your peace return to you. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, then depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. And verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. He's like, don't put up with it. You don't have time for that. Dust your feet off. They don't want to listen to you. You went there. You done spoke your piece. They don't want to listen to you. Just dust your feet off and go on. Go on about your way. They're not the ones we're trying to save right now. Verily I say unto you, if it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. He's saying that he's literally telling them, look, you go into that town, and if they don't want to listen to you, you leave. But let them understand that what's coming is about to be worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. So they would have remembered Sodom and Gomorrah getting destroyed by fire and brimstone coming down from heaven. They would have remembered that. At least it would have been talked about in stories or in classrooms or whatever, social settings. But they would definitely know about it, and you would think that if what's coming is going to be worse than that you would want to be on the right side of things. It says, behold, I send for you sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Everybody wants to be wise. They read about King Solomon and how blessed he was for being wise. So everybody wants to be wise. Everybody wants to be the sheep amidst the wolves. Why wouldn't you want to be a sheep amongst the wolves? Why wouldn't you want to be wise? Harmless as doves. Why is it? What it's saying is, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. He's saying, look, you guys are going to go out there, and there are going to be people that are going to try to lie to you. They're going to try to manipulate you. They're going to try to trick you. They're going to try to make you think this. They're going to try to make you think that. And they will. But he's saying, but therefore be wise as serpents. Yeah, be therefore wise as serpents. He's saying, be aware, be mindful of what they are and what they're saying. Be aware of it. Don't just let them fool you. But be harmless as doves. Like, be careful how you approach negative connotations, as when people bring up stuff or try to manipulate you or deceive you or anything like that, you could always handle it multiple ways. It's just saying be careful how you do it. It says, but beware of men, for they will deliver up to you the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. He says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. He's saying, look, you need to be careful. Y'all need to be out here and be sneaky, kind of even, like hide in the shadows a little bit. Like, don't be out there street preaching. He's saying to only go to the ones that you'll know the ones you need to go to. Just go out there and go to my lost sheep. He's going to find his people. That's what his goal is for right now. That's their mission. That's their role and their duty. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Miles of Christ channel. Yeah. Yeah, I seen the link. I don't know why I got distracted. I was trying to read the chat there. Sorry. He says, but behold, I send forth you as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Beware of men, because they're going to literally they're going to kill you. They're going to take you up before their judges, and they're going to literally kill these men. They're going to get rid of them. And some of them, anyways. At least that's their goal. You don't want to get caught by these men. It would be really bad. Like, it was a treacherous time is what it's trying to tell you. Love you, Brother David. Good to see you here. Man, what a blessing. Jesus is Lord. Thank you, brother. Good to see you here as well. Yeah. It's Miles with Christ in the little season. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. So when you get brought up against them, you'll be there to testify against them, and let them. They will see that your actions, your behaviors will be a testament unto them. They will see the God in you. Basically, they will see the Christ-like in you, the godly way of you. Not necessarily that you would be a God. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I was just saying that you'd be godly. Your God-like appearance. Your attitude. They are supermen at this moment anyway. So I guess it could be possible either way. Like, there could be some more relevance in there somewhere. That's just another rabbit hole to go down. And ye shall be brought before governors for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what you shall speak. Like, don't be worried about writing a script, planning this thing out, getting it prepping for it, and getting ready. This is one of those reasons why people will be lazy today. People will get lazy on things because they really, I don't know, it's like they think Jesus is coming at any moment now to save them. And so what's the point? He told them not to he's telling them not to worry about what to say or anything, that they'll just know it. It'll just come to them. He'll just know it, and he'll understand it, and the Spirit will be moving through them so hardcore they won't need to write anything down. Everything they say will be led by the Father, be Spirit led. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Bam. Next line. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise against their parents and cause them to be put to death. You know, people think this is happening today, but people aren't calling up their family members to be put to death today. You know, I mean, yeah, some crazy loons out there are doing that somewhere in the world, for sure. Somebody's trying to sacrifice their mom and dad right now, I'm sure. It's crazy what could be out there, but that's not saying that we should be that way. All I'm trying to say with this, guys, is that as we read through this, a lot of times all of the like the church doctrines, your Baptist, Methodist, your Protestants, your Catholics, your Mormon, your all of the doctrines, all of them. If they don't subscribe to certain laws, they can't subscribe to certain man-made laws unless they align with certain biblical features. The problem is you can make any of this stuff apply to you, even though it doesn't belong to you and has nothing to do with you, but you can still do that, which is what they do with the laws that we have in the world today. They take our laws and they use laws to basically subvert your need to call on God, but your need to call on them, so to speak. But I know that seems like it's kind of going a little bit off topic there, but I'm not. But when they deliver you up, take no thought of how you will speak, because it'll be just given to you. For it's not you that speaks, it's the Spirit of the Father that is in you. And your brothers and will put you up to death, and children will be putting their parents to death, and up against parents up against their kids, and you shall be hated by all men for my name's sake, but he that endures to the end shall be saved. I mean, not really many people hate me because I love Jesus. People hate me because they don't believe I love Jesus. No matter how much I talk about him, no matter how much I do for him, there are people that are just never believe. They'll never believe the Rev loves Jesus. They just never believe that. I don't know why that is, other than to say I do know why. Because if I say I do, if I do or if I don't, it don't change it. It doesn't change whether that exists as a real thing or not. But there will be people that always think I don't believe in Jesus. All because there was a time I wasn't sure if I did or if I didn't. I didn't know. I wasn't sure. It takes sometimes being humbled down, all the way down to basically being stomped down to nothing, for you finally give up and just say, okay, just tell me what to do. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Just tell me what to do. I'm just going to stop breathing till you tell me to breathe. All of a sudden, you breathe. You can't help it because God can't help but help you. He can't help but help you. It's us and you and me. We can't help ourselves. When we live in a system that's designed to make us think we can help ourselves, they were too, to a degree. He's just warning them about all that and telling them all this stuff to look out for so they can be careful on their way. He's not saying go out there and get in a fist fight because someone might kill them. Today, they want you to think that you having faith in Jesus means I can just go out there and fist fight all the bad guys and then somehow survive. That's called being foolish, is what that's called. I'm not Batman, you know. I'm not that guy. But I just think it's interesting because people treat it like you can't kill a saint, like the same way they believe you can't kill an angel. You know, if angels were among men today, these men would be killing these angels. There would not be a living angel around you. There are men that would just go out of their way. They'd hunt them. They'd hunt them if they could. They'd go get a license tomorrow. Go down to Walmart and pay their $10 for an annual license to go hunt these angels. I'm saying that I often wondered why we never see any of these beings, these angels, these gods, and all this other stuff. Like, why don't we actually just see them walking around? Well, because we would kill them. That's why. We just don't think we would, because most of us think we love Jesus. Well, they also thought they loved the Messiah too, or at least they thought they would. They all followed him. They went everywhere he went. They traveled behind him. He says, "Is it enough for the disciples that he be as his master, and that the servant as his Lord? If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household?" Is it enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord? He's just saying that it's like if I owned a company called Rev Plumbing and I wanted to hire Miss Kim. Miss Kim M works for me, but I give her all my power. She can run the business. She can hire people. She can fire people. She can set up jobs, take them away. She can shut the company down. She has power to even shut it down. But she runs the company. And then somehow she steals it from me. Just takes it from me. I no longer have it anymore. Because she don't want to be the person that works for the Rev. She wants to be the one that's Rev's master. She wants Rev work for her. And I would, though. I probably would work for Miss Kim M. Especially if she were running things at my plumbing office. I'm sure I would. But that is just an example. It's not a real thing. It's just saying that he's just trying to tell them that, like, look, one, I guess this is the most humble way, really, to say, look, you're never going to be me. But you're going to be tryhards for all eternity. And at least you got that, You're never going to be me, but you're going to be tryhards for all eternity. And that's his way of saying that without, like, in the most humble way. Disciple, like, he's just saying, it is enough for the disciple that he be as his master and the servant as his Lord. It is enough. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household? For them, not therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. But he says, if they had called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household? Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. When I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, that, and what you hear in the ear, that, wait, what? What I tell you in darkness, I see what I'm doing. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops. What I tell you in darkness, you speak in light, and what you hear in the ear, you go out there and preach it to the rooftops. What I'm telling you in Discord, go tell everybody, go tell all your friends. What we're saying over here in chat, go tell everybody, go tell all your friends. We're not saying to keep this to ourselves, but yet there are some things we need to keep to ourselves. Of course, we do need to always think about things and be wise as serpents, but yet gentle as doves. And fear not, them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Quit. I don't know why she likes licking that cushion right there. Same spot all the time. She's got a habit of doing it now, I guess. But it says, fear them not that can kill the body, because, I mean, the body really, I mean, what good is it without the soul? The soul is what matters the most when it comes to you. And the spirit that's in that soul that guides that soul. What kind of soul do you have? That's what we're going to be measured by. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. He's telling you to be afraid of God. They're thinking, what? That's weird. Why would you be afraid of God? He loves everybody. It says, fear not which to kill them that kill the body, but the one that can kill both body and soul. I'm sorry, I'm really actually tired, if I'm being honest. And fear not them which kill the body that can kill the soul. And are not two sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father. But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore are ye of more value than many sparrows. And are two sparrows sold for like basically nothing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father? But the very hairs on your head are numbered. For you are not therefore, and you are more value than many sparrows. I mean, he's just saying, like, are birds not important? Like, he's saying that these sparrows would be important to your Father. So why don't you think you are more important than your Father? Like, he's basically saying, like I guess if he spoke like me, he'd be saying something to the effect of, like, why are you being silly? Like, you're being silly. I mean, think about what you're thinking and what you're saying. That the God who created you loves this bird more than you. That doesn't make any sense. He's just basically saying it like that. But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Because he knows you. He knows everything about you. For whosoever there shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, will I confess also before my Father. He's like, you shout out me and I'll shout out you. Shout me out to the world and I'll shout you out to my Father. That's what he's telling them. Check doll's teeth. Had one do that. Thought was self-soothing or habit, but actually had a bad tooth. Would never have guessed. Oh, that's I will. I will check on that. I will check that. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Kim. I had not even thought of that. You see, what a blessing. I hope that's not the issue, though. I hope it is just a habit. But you're right. It could be an issue. I just hadn't looked that hard, I guess. I've been too distracted. I've been actually really busy, if I'm being really honest. Like, super busy. Like, I don't stop. I'm going to log off this thing here in a little while, and I'm going to still be going, doing stuff. But yeah, he loves you. Oh, yeah. That's what this reminds me of. All them doors, like the infinite multiverses of whatever. It just like God knew you before you were born, sort of thing. Like he was present when you were born, but also present while you were not born. It's like, it's an amazing thing, if I'm being honest. But yeah, Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father. If you deny me, though, I'm denying you. So he's going to be telling them that. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father, which is in heaven. It's a tit for tat. Do for me, I'll do for you. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword. That's what's interesting. He did come to, he actually created peace, but he creates peace in a way. But there's never really like true peace, not until the end. And so, no matter how you look at it, there's no way you can misinterpret that. Think not that I've come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Yeah, he didn't come to send peace. Come to he says, for I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. I'm sorry, I keep wanting to speak ahead of what I'm reading to you guys, because I know we've already read, a lot of us have already read this, but we're just going through it as a Bible study. So I got to dial my mind back a little. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and his daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. He's just coming to divide families. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Because he that loveth his father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth his son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. It's plain and simple. In other words, he's not saying to dishonor the mother. He's not saying to dishonor the father. He's not saying that you can go out there and just slap your mom and daddy around. That's not what he's telling them. He's just saying, like, if we backed up, if we continue, if we always say, well, just go back and read, just go back and read. It always tells you, when you go back, same thing. It's not going to change. We can go back and look at it again, but as we go up and read, it tells us that he's just simply telling them what to look out for, that the time is at hand. That's why none of this stuff's really important. Like, to them, not to you and me. To you and me, it would be important, but to them, none of this stuff's really that important. But he's giving it to them anyways, because there is a little time. There's just not near the amount of time like what we have. Most of us have our entire lifetimes to figure this out, and most of us never make it. That's the sad part of reality. But he that loveth the Father more than me, yeah, he's not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and follow after me, yeah, he's not worthy of me either. And he that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. I love Grady. That brother Grady, his passion, his fire, and his energy, I hope he can keep it up. I hope he can keep that energy up. I believe he can. I have faith in him, and I'm going to pray for him. But he that findeth his life shall lose it, that sounds like something Grady would talk about. You know, you got to die in yourself daily to be reborn and renewed every single day. Because every day, if we don't do that, we become prideful. We become full of ourselves. He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. Yeah, if you receive me, guess what? You also get the Father. That's what he's telling them. But if you deny me for even your own life, if your life is more important than serving me, then you can have that life. But that's all you get. You don't get Jesus and you don't get God. Plain and simple. It's just that simple. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. It's just telling them that what you put out there is what you're going to get back in return. What you give is what you're going to take. You're not going to be able to take more than what you give. And he that receiveth me, yeah. And he that receiveth the prophet in the name of the Father shall receive a prophet's rewards. What you put into it's what you're going to get. That's what he's telling them. If you're righteous in your efforts, you're going to have a righteous reward. Plain and simple. If your heart's in the right place, yep, then whatever you're dealing with, it'll work. It'll work in the way that you're trying to go. And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. And whosoever shall give drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. He's just saying that whosoever shall give drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, that means for certain, for sure, I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. I mean, in other words, he'll keep his it won't be nothing to lose, really. I was laughing at my boy dog over here. He's over here having a little dream. And it came to pass, when Jesus made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed thence to teach and to preach in their cities. And when it came to pass, when Jesus had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, an end of commanding his 12 disciples. End. Jesus made an end. He made an end, so there was like a time where there are no longer disciples. That's what it sounds like to me, but I don't know. Let's just keep reading. It says, now when John had heard in the prison the works of Christ, he sent 2 of his disciples, and he said unto them, that art thou he that should come, or do we look for another? Jesus answered and said unto them, go and show John again those things which you do hear and see. And when John had heard in the prison the works of Christ, remember John is in jail while Jesus is out there doing the deed. He's doing the work. He wanted to hang out with John, but he said, well, dang, if my boy is going to get locked up, I'm going to go out here and do the work myself. And then John heard him in prison, and he sent 2 of his disciples and said unto him, art thou he that come, or do we look for another? And Jesus answered and said unto them, go and show John again those things which you do hear and see. This is really interesting. It says John heard in prison the works of Christ, and he sent 2 of his disciples. Ain't that kind of strange? Did y'all know that John had disciples? It's because John himself was a teacher. He was teaching these guys in the right way. All this tells me is that Jesus is the way, but he doesn't have to be the only way. We could all be part of that way movement. It doesn't have to just be me. It doesn't have to just be one other person. It could always be it could always be many of us. It could always be any one of us driving the bus is all I'm trying to say. And that's all that is trying to say too, though. And Jesus answered and said unto them, go and show John again those things which you do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk, and the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. You know, if you're not worried about saying my name, I'm not going to be worried about saying yours when it's time to go to that white throne of judgment. Remember, if you shout out the Lord, he'll shout you out in heaven. But there will be many that'll say, Lord, Lord. And then he will say, depart from me. But we haven't got to that part yet, I don't think. And as they departed, Jesus began to say unto the multitudes concerning John, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind. And as they departed, Jesus began to say unto the multitudes concerning John, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? Where'd you go? What'd you see? What'd you do? A reed shaken in the wind? As they departed, Jesus began to say unto the multitudes concerning John. He's telling the people about John. You got Jesus out here talking about John. Why ain't he talking about himself? I don't know. Maybe he's a humble fella. The most humble fella. You know, that's what humble people do. They shout each other out. You know, they're brothers. They're family. They're united, you know. Appreciate that, Brother Mad Packs. If I'm being honest, I can't breathe out of one side of my nose right now. It got like being an addict really messes with my sinuses. So I'm really having trouble breathing. So I'm like trying to hold it together for you guys. So I feel like the edit of this is going to be way better. But wait, where was I? All right, here we go. But what went ye out to see? In man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in kings' houses. But what ye went out for to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. Yeah, he's a prophet, but he's more than a prophet. That's what he's telling them. This is what Jesus is telling them. For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. Verily I say unto you, for this is he of whom it is written, behold, I'm sending my messenger, this is my messenger, before thy face, which shall prepare thy way, your way, my way, thy way, thy way. Like he's saying my way. Jesus is saying my way. In that's what thy way means. But in this context, thy would be like me and you, really, or he and them. It's like he and them. That's how that would be. For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. It's us and them, basically, but not us. It's them two. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there hath not risen a greater man than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than me. All right, Brother Allen. Good to see you. Not getting notifications hour in. Oh my goodness. Well, I hate to hear that. We'll have to figure out what's going on with those notifications. We might just have to start liking and sharing the content a little bit more. No, I'm just teasing. But no, it says, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there there hath not risen a greater man than John the Baptist. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. He's saying that it's been really bad, and like, y'all can't. For one, y'all know this dude is a good dude, so why are y'all hating on him? This is what he's saying. Y'all are bad. Y'all are all terrible. Y'all know this dude ain't terrible. Like, why? What is going on here? This is how he's addressing them. For all the prophets and the law prophesied unto John, and if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. And if you will receive it, like if you will accept this as Elias, just understand that whatever purpose Elijah was going to do when he got here, as foretold, this is what John is doing. So whether you call him John or Elias come back as John, or if Elias was here himself, it wouldn't change anything. It would still be the same character playing out this part. Is really all that is. If you will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you would only hear me say that if you were listening, but you wouldn't hear that if you really weren't listening. Just being real, you would hear me say those same words, but you wouldn't hear what I'm saying. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling out unto their fellows. He's saying that y'all are like little crying babies. That's what he's saying. They're a bunch of crybabies. That's all this generation is. Y'all just want to cry and whine. That's all he's saying about them. And saying, we have piped unto you, and you have not danced, and we have mourned to you, and you have not lamented. I mean, you don't care that we are sad. You don't care that we're happy. You don't care that we're playing music. I wrote a whole song for you. I wrote a whole song and dedicated it to you. It got heard by millions of people. I mean, look how famous the Rev is. He's got an album out with 8 songs on it. And all 8 of them songs are going viral. They're topping the charts. Can't nobody believe this. This is amazing. Look at Rev. That wouldn't be the bad part. What would be the bad part would be the receiving end, which would be my end. You be praising me, would it be bad for me? But it would be bad for you to praise me, but it wouldn't necessarily be bad for me. But what would be bad for me on my end is now I'm sitting here, yeah, I did make this music. I did do this. I am this. I am that. I should be saved. I should go to heaven. I deserve it. But no matter what I do and how good I do, I don't think I really ever deserve it. If we're leaning on the truth, that's where I'm leaning. But he's just saying that they all are crying and complaining. It doesn't matter. They've already had their opportunity. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he was a devil. This dude's a devil, and he hadn't even done anything. Like, what is wrong with y'all? You got this dude over here dressing like a woman. You got this dude over here hitting a woman. You got this guy over here and this lady over there all doing crazy things, just doing god-awful stuff. And y'all are saying this dude who has done nothing wrong, who is trying to help y'all, is the devil? The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, a man is gluttonous. The Son of Man came eating. Y'all saw him eating and whatnot, and he's gluttonous all of a sudden. And a wine bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners, but wisdom is just justified of her children. He's like, you judging him because of who he hangs out with? That's wild. Look at you. Look what you're doing. He said, then began he to upbraid the cities. Then began he, which today you would read that as backwards. Then he began to upbraid the cities wherein most of his mighty works were done, because they repented not. Woe unto thee, Chorazin, or Chorazin. Woe unto thee, Bethsaida, for if the mighty works which were done in you had been done in Tyre, Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. He's just saying, like, woe unto thee, Chorazin, woe unto thee, Bethsaida, for if the mighty works which were done in you had been done in Tyre and Sidon, which they have been repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon at the day of judgment than for you. He's saying, like, you remember how bad it was there whenever they had their problems? It would actually be better for you to be there than to be here, where he's telling them, like, the times that they're going through, the day of judgment, do not wish for the day of the Lord. It's never a good day for us or for mankind. It says, and thou, Capernaum, which art exalted unto heaven, shalt be brought down to hell. For if the mighty works which have been done in thee had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. And thou, Capernaum, which art exalted into heaven, shalt be brought down to hell. He's saying that even those places where you think that everybody's doing the greatest at, like the most fanciest cities, the one that goes all the way to the sky, where you got all these giant towers and skyscrapers, and all that be brought down. There'll be nothing. They'll be made low. But I say unto you that it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom in the day of the judgment than for thee. I mean, he just keeps repeating doom, 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 doom to these people. It's weird because you got people preaching the same doom that Jesus was preaching. Like, I don't know, are they trying to be Jesus, or are they trying to lead? Like, what are they trying to do with the message? I mean, what would be the point in preaching Jesus's sermon? Like, why would you want to copycat Jesus? Just do your own sermon, but why are you talking about doom and gloom? Like, this just doesn't make sense. Like, to try to get people all bent out of shape and thinking that the world is going to end any day now. Yeah, it might. I mean, it seriously might end any day now. We should live our life like that, sure. But this is really serious for them, is all I'm trying to say. It's not serious for us. It's all in our heads. We're delusional. We're delusional because we're deceived. We think we're waiting for the same thing Jesus thought he was waiting for. Being like Jesus does not mean the same. It's not the same, nor does it mean the same as being Jesus. You're not going to be Jesus. But we're all going to pack up and move to another country or something like that. No, that has nothing to do with any of us. It has nothing to do with anything. We shouldn't be doing stuff like that. At least if it's not applying to you. It's saying my stream is kind of choppy, but it's still there. Okay, good. But I say unto you that it shall be more tolerable in Sodom than in the day of the judgment than the day of judgment for thee. At that time Jesus answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. He said, at that time Jesus answered and said, I thank the Father for teaching these kids the right thing and keeping them hid, like, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and the prudent and hast revealed them unto babies. Like he's really mad at them, is what it is. It's almost like being petty in a way, like a humble way of being petty. At that time, Jesus answered, said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent. I mean, you would think if Jesus loved everybody, wanted everybody to be saved, he wouldn't care that they were wise and prudent. He would want them to know the truth. He would want to help them too. But it just seems to me like he don't really love everybody. But no, it is. That's the wrong way to say that. Because one, it doesn't say anything about the love or anything, any of that in that. But what it does tell us is that while he may loves everybody, he don't have time for the ones that don't have time for him, and that's all that is. It's not a personal thing. Like he's not like. It's not like that's Terry Angelo the wise. That's not Brody whatever the prudent. This isn't a person that's wise, or this is just like, it's just saying, like, the reason why you wouldn't have all these different names of different people or different things, I guess, would be because like it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't change anything today now or not, whether it was in there or not is really all that is. But more importantly, it's just saying that he don't really have time for them. It has nothing to do with him not loving them. It's not a personal vendetta against some person named this or named that who was wise. But yet, if you were wise, it was a fair chance you weren't on Jesus's team because you were wise in the ways of the world and not in his ways, which is where most of us fall a victim to being short of the glory of God today. We believe we know a thing or two. We believe we're wise and we know better. And even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight. All things are delivered unto my Father, and no man knoweth the Son but the Father. All things are delivered unto me of my Father, and no man knoweth the Son but the Father. Neither knoweth any man the Father, the Father, save the Son, and he to whomever the Son will reveal. Now, I want to be clear on something right here. And people could take this how they want to take it. But all things are delivered unto me of my Father. This is Jesus. All things delivered unto me, not you and me, but unto Jesus. All things are delivered unto Jesus by God. And no man knows this Son, but the Father in heaven knows him. Neither nor any man the Father, save the Son. Without the Son, without Jesus, and he to whomever the Son will reveal. Without Jesus, you cannot know the Father. I find it interesting because a lot of us come to have faith in the Son today without believing in the Father. We had doubt in the Father. But we saw the Father through the Son. And what we see is a fellow we'd like to follow. And so it's interesting. You'll seek after the Father, you'll receive the Son, and then you'll find the Father. It's really how that works. It's kind of fascinating paradigm thing if you want to kind of word it like that, kind of like Brother Tyler Woods' paradigm shift. There is a shift happening, but it is a manufactured shift, but it is an actual shift though. There is a shift of consciousness that is happening. There's two of them happening at the same time though. There's two forms of consciousness. One is super anti-Christ and one is full of Christ. Is all for Christ. So there's two frames of thought with this new shift that's happening within this paradigm shift. That was from I got that frame. I was thinking on that and got that thought there from Brother Tyler Woods. over there, flat earth theism. He says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. He said, everybody works hard, don't worry. As long as you do the work, you're going to have comfort in the end. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek, lowly in my heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. He said, take what I'm telling you, learn from me, listen to me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. You'll have peace. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. All you got to do is just stop what you're doing. Pick up your cross and follow me. That's all he's telling them. You don't have to worry about thinking. You don't have to worry about getting married. You don't have to worry about having kids. You don't have to worry about having to deal with anything. All you have to do is show up. Just come to me. Just do what I'm telling you to do. That's it. Listen to me. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Simple. When they say he's here to create division, I mean, he's not here to create peace. He's here to create division. He's here to bring us together by separating us from the ones we don't need to be a part of. He's not saying that when you separate from the rest of the world to not gather around people like you, to just still be by yourself while Miss Trish is in Scott Free and Dojo and Mad Pax and Miss Kim and Brother David and Chris T are all sitting in chat hanging out. Don't just sit there and watch them and look and why would I hop in there? I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be upset. I don't want to upset nobody. That's why you hop in there, because you don't have to worry about that. Just like if you had went to the other side of it and went with everybody else on that side, you'd just be talking about whatever they're talking about. The point is, we were divided. We have been divided in this world. Those that seek after the truth will find it. And we've been divided. He's separating us right now from the rest of the world. And it's up to us to come together on this side of it. We're already on, a lot of us, some of us, especially those of us in the Truth Unfiltered community, we are definitely on this side of it. You know, most of us, a lot of us are on this side of the fence, but we still know a lot of people that are on the other side, and we need to show them what it's like to have green grass. We need to show them what it's like to have true meekness of our souls and true love for our neighbors. We need to show them what Jesus meant by all the things that he said, not the things that he didn't say, that we think he meant this or he meant that. What did he mean by the things he said? And he didn't just say he was coming to only save these people, this one small little group of people. It does say that, though. That's not what he's coming to say, even though he does say that. It's like when I say something that someone hears and then they take it out of context because they didn't have time to listen to me talk for another 10 minutes. But if they would have listened to me talk for just 10 more minutes, they'd have saw me, maybe circle back to that. And there's a reason why I did say that. Just the same as there's a reason why I do a lot of the things that I do. It's like the post I made. I knew it was going to upset people. And I know people right now that think that this is specifically about them. And it could have been. But we're not going to explore that. Because the point is, it wasn't about anybody in particular. It was to prove a point. How triggering and upsetting it is, even to your own self, when you let yourself get ahead of yourself, when you start acting on your desires and your anger and your emotions. When we don't rely on Christ to lead us and to guide us, we become victims of what I was talking about. Imagine if I had said, can't believe Brother Miles went live today during my premiere. I mean, that's ridiculous. Why'd he do that? He's over there going live same time. He knew I was going live. I put it out there a couple days ago. Yeah, it bothers me, but it doesn't bother me. In fact, it don't bother me at all. It would bother me if it was intentional, but I know that there's nothing like that intentional between me and Miles. But I'm just saying, it's just like I'm happy for it. I was trying to get y'all to go over there. Leave. This is just a upload premiere. Y'all go watch Miles and and come back to this when that's over. I love Miles. I want Miles to prosper. I want Miles to get his word out. I'd love for him to be able to kick his feet up and talk about the Lord for the rest of the day. And that be all he does every day, instead of having to go feed algae and take care of the world at the same time. Of course, I'm sure he loves doing what he does, just like I love to do what I do. I love being a plumber. I love being a plumber. I never thought I'd be one. I never thought I'd be a plumber, but yet I am. That wasn't my big dream in life, but it's where God designed and desired for me to be. Learning to lean on God allows you to learn from your mistakes before you even make them. Sometimes, though, it's hard to know all the what could be's. You can never truly account for every single individual thought that's out there. That's the only bad thing about all that type of stuff. But other than that, it's really fascinating how most of the world just gets lost in pride and self-fulfillment when it comes to all of this. Every bit of this would have been about them. If you'd have read this in any other church setting, this would have been all about you. And the reality is, it is all about you, except that it's not about you, it's for you. That's the thing. None of this is for me. None of this is just for one person here and there. It's for everybody. This is for everyone, the gospel. Whether everyone hops into it or not, it's just the way that goes. It's not gonna ever just like, sorry, actually I got touched by that comment there, brother Mad Pax. Miles loves you, Reb. Yeah, I love Miles, man. Man, I'm so happy for Miles. So glad he's out there. He's pushing and put the word out. I loved his background, by the way. It just seems like I can just feel like comfortable, that there's no agenda, and he's not trying to sell me on anything. Every time I talk to him, it's pure, and it's purity in his heart. But I like to think ahead. I like to think about what I'm going to do next, and then what comes next after that, and then what comes next after that, and then what comes next after that. And all the what next and what comes next. I like to think about all of those. Oh, well, what if this? Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, that changes things. I like to think ahead. And when you start thinking ahead, you start living ahead. And sometimes I will start moving ahead of myself. And I'm not ready to be moved in certain ways yet. Just like, and none of us are being called to move to any other country in the world necessarily, although some people in countries in the world may be being called to move to other places in the world. I don't think that's necessary, really, though it would be nice if all of us could gather together, especially if we could all, have one big community, one big town. Funny thing is, me and Renee were on Google Earth looking around the United States the other night, and we were finding all kinds of abandoned towns, or at least they looked abandoned. Some of them looked like nobody lived there for years, just empty towns with schools, the whole infrastructure already set up. There are ways to make things happen, and there are ways to do things. There are so many different ways, but one thing's for certain. No matter which way we choose, if we don't allow Christ to guide us in that move, we're going the wrong way. And one thing I can say for certain, when it comes to the Truth Unfiltered could be network someday, one thing I want to be at the core of it is Jesus Christ and the truth, no matter what. I don't want to hear about Roseanne and how she has 18 nipples or whatever. Who cares? Nobody cares about Roseanne, or not actually Roseanne. I actually kind of like Roseanne. I was thinking about Rosie O'Donnell. Is who I was thinking about, to be honest. And I'm not trying to pick on her, but shame on her for being the way she is as a human being. Just not a decent person, I don't think. But there's a lot of people like that in the world that are like that people look at like celebrities and whatnot. You got organizations and things like the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens used to be on there. She's not on there anymore. But there's a lot of people that used to be on the Daily Wire that aren't on there anymore, and they have their own little thing that they're doing, their own shows, and they're doing very well and whatnot. But the point, the issue was that the Daily Wire is a conservative thing, but it's not. But it's a fake conservative. Like, it's not a real conservative. And the reason it's a fake conservative, not a real conservative, is because it's ran by the Jays, the small hats. And because it's ran by the small hats, it's never going to be real, because they're pretending to be conservative when they hate conservatives. It isn't, you've got people that hate you leading you, so to speak. That's what you have with the Daily Wire. People that say they're on your side if you're conservative, but yet they think you're not even worthy of it, to being called a human. You're like something mankind. You're like a monster or whatever. You're not even real to them. But yet that's how the Daily Wire is set up. That with a bunch of different hosts and whatnot. And so I think it would be cool to have a show or a channel that I can trust, that I could watch. I would listen to people like Miles and Beth Fisher. I would listen to people like Jason Jack and JT Follows JC, Brian from Demon Erasers, Ricardo from Contend for the Faith, Tyler from Kingdom Within, Culticon, Madeline from Leaving Babylon, Donica Tibbetts as well. You got a whole bunch of new ones. Tyler Woods and Grady. Of course, y'all know Grady. He's done joined the team. But what I'm saying is that I would like to be able to one day not have to be on screen on this camera, and could just sit back in my easy chair and drink some coffee perhaps and listen to somebody I like to listen to. It's somebody that's going to be uplifting. It's someone that's going to teach me something positive. I'm not going to learn some BS from it. And it may even be entertaining, it may even be an entertaining thing. And so that's what I want for me on a daily basis. And I want fellowship within that. That's what I want for me, but I also want that for everyone else. I want everyone else to be able to experience that same thing. And the only way to do that is if we grow the Truth Unfiltered network. And so that's what our plans and our goals are moving forward with this thing. We're really working on it, and we're really putting some real serious thought into it. It's not about competing with other brands or other networks or other shows or anything like that. It's simply a show that is only there for the ones who want it, who want that message, who want to know about King Jesus, that want to know about what it's like to live in the most deceived era of time ever. What does it mean to be a Christian? What does it mean to know a thing or two? I would like to be able to listen to stuff that I like to listen to and not just listen to myself. I would like to listen to others. I do like listening to others. I really do. So, but yeah, I want to grow this thing. I think it can work. I think with Brother Grady's help and several others in the background that are also helping, still currently, they don't even know they're helping. I'm kind of pulling people into this thing without them even realize I'm pulling them into it. I think because sometimes I have ideas for people that I think work, and may not, but I might come up with an idea before I even talk to someone about it. Then I'll talk about it. I think we should always talk about every decision that's ever made with any of it. Going forward, I want my children to be able to look back and say that that their dad did a good thing with this channel, that they're proud of what he did. And I'm not saying proud as in I'm full of pride in that way. Proud as in they're just glad I'm doing a good thing. I want that to be the case someday, whether they understand that or believe that today or not. One day they will. Your children will too, and so all of ours, as they look back and see the live chat that's still on the air or still going. They're still able to watch the chat replay 20 years from now on YouTube, unless they deactivate it somehow or get rid of it. But as long as I can help it, I'm going to always have backups, so we'll never have to worry about what they take from us. What we have to worry about is what we do moving forward. And to learn more about this potential Truth Network, I will be talking with people in Discord about this. It's real soon. We'll have like a public thing. Where we will address what we're talking about with all of that, and kind of go over what our plans are moving forward with it. Outside of that, YouTube, you get me telling you what we got going on. And as for the rest of the communities that are out there, the other content creators that are out there, just really not sure what to make of the Rev at the moment, understand this, that I'm not competing with any of you. I only have one thing in mind here, and that's to create a place on the internet, in real life, that is safe and that is going to be guaranteeing the truth. And if you're out here on the internet as a content creator and you're not speaking the truth, I'm going to say to you what I've always said to anyone: you're not right. I'm gonna call you out, plain and simple. It's just that simple. But there are people in our community that are not here for the right reasons, but that doesn't mean they need to necessarily leave. It just means they're not here for the right reasons. It also means that we need to be aware that they're not here for the right reasons. And as we become aware of this, we know how to deal with them appropriately, with people like that. It's not necessarily get out of here, just because they will end up coming to the light. I feel like, especially the more people that come together, that shine, brings their candles together, will eventually have a big old bonfire. Well, I'll be sitting out there kicking back and drinking a nice glass of iced tea. Some of us probably a beer or two. I think you can drink a beer or two. You just got to stay sober. You stay a sober mind. But either way, one day we'll all be able to get together and hang out and socialize, no matter what, whether it's in this life or the next. I just want to try to make it, be as soon as it can. Even if I get to simulate it with all of you for a short while, and then Jesus comes and delivers us all to our next destination. It could be that way, but one thing's for certain: we'll never know if we don't do anything. A closed mouth don't get fed. And if you don't ask questions, you won't know answers. It's plain and simple. And if you ever want to win a debate, you always respond with a question that's relevant to the question asked. And you will win every debate if you do that. That's what Donald Trump does. That's what a lot of other people does. Except Donald Trump gets a little bit too prideful sometimes. Why he'll look like he's losing sometimes in those debates. That's neither important, nor here nor there. It's just a little wise thing I picked up a long time ago. But that being said, look, you guys are the best community on the planet. On the plane, y'all are the best community ever, for real. I love each and every one of you, and one day I'm gonna do like actual series breakdowns of other things like the moon, the earth, the land masses and stuff. Well, we'll do whole segments on it, so it'll be kind of laid out like kind of like a study session type format. But with every great idea, it takes time and planning. You got to put it together. All that said, I love you guys. Y'all are the best community on the planet. You really are amazing. I thank each and every one of you for being here with me this evening. Thank you guys for hanging out with Brother Grady Monday night. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Look forward to hanging out with you again with Brother Grady. This time I will be in the background, popping in and out with him, hanging out with him as he does his show, unless he has something in particular that he wants to go over or whatever. I'll kind of just sit back and watch. Outside of that, I love you guys. Take care. God bless. Tomorrow with the Culticon.
They tried to silence the truth, but one voice rose. Not a pastor, not a prophet, just a man with a mic and a mission from God. From a backroom stream to a global call, the ref stood up while the giants fall. No stage, no fame, no bought applause, just fire in his bones and a holy cause. He saw the lies that the world believed, pulled back the curtain, made them grieve. Not with hate, with sharpened grace. He flipped the script right in their face. This is truth unfiltered, where the silence breaks, where the saints rise up and the whole earth shakes. Led by a voice who don't compromise, the ref speaks truth while the system dies. This is truth unfiltered, raw and real, sword of the spirit, unchained seal. No soft sermons, no fake appeal, just truth that cuts and wounds that heal. He's not your preacher in Sunday shoes, he's boots on the ground with the headline news, breaking down lies that the world repeats, from Jasher scrolls to the Revelation heat. He walks through fire so we see clear, unveils the word with holy fear. And if they strike, he still won't run, he knows the war's already won. This is truth unfiltered, where the silence breaks, where the saints rise up and the whole earth shakes. Led by a voice who don't compromise, the ref speaks truth while the system dies. This is truth unfiltered, raw and real, sword of the spirit, unchained seal. No soft sermons, no fake appeal, just truth that cuts and wounds that heal. Speaks for the lonely, the cast aside, the ones still standing though the rest all lied. For those in the little season fog, he's a lighthouse fire in a world of smog. It ain't about cloud, it's a holy stand, with the gospel burning in his weathered hands. Through trials, loss, and shadow war, the rev keeps knocking on Babylon's door. Not a title, not a brand, just a voice for the voiceless, with truth in his hands. Truth unfiltered, we were born for this. This is truth unfiltered, where the silence breaks, where the saints rise up and the whole earth shakes. Led by a voice who don't compromise, the rev speaks truth while the system dies. This is truth unfiltered, raw and real, sword of the spirit, unchained seal. No soft sermons, no fake appeal, just truth that cuts and wounds that heal.